From VTV Channel 6 studios in downtown Vernal, this is Local Point with your host, Chris Piner.
Welcome to Local Point, brought to you by Strata Networks. I'm your host, Chris Piner. Joining me in the studio, we have Marcie, Buka, and Grayson, Massey to talk about the Sandy Hook Blanket Drive. It's good to have you both here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honored to be
Thanks
here.
for coming. Now, this is also part of a larger, we'll talk more about the Blanket Drive, but it's part of a larger charitable effort. Is that right, Grayson?
It is. It's part of our overall Check Your Change project we do at Uintah High School every year.
Very good. So this is under the umbrella of Check Your Change and almost took on a life of its own. So how did this come to be, the Blanket Drive, and then we'll talk about what it is.
So Marcie posted a Facebook post Sunday night. This would have been a day after the shooting. And I called her up and I said, what can we do? And I said, let's try and make blankets. Yeah. And that's kind of how this whole ball started rolling.
Right. So you wanted to make blankets to send.
To send to the children that are still, you know, the children back
school
east in
district.
Connecticut. Absolutely, yes.
Well, this affected not only a school, but a nation.
Whole, yeah.
And amazing then, the outpouring, the people that wanted to get involved. So this Blanket Drive was to send why blankets?
You know, blankets offer security. It's a security for those little kids that are back there terrorized, you know, and it's a small thing that maybe can, you know, reunite our communities with their community, just to let them know that we, you know, we feel helpless and we send our love to them. And you know, this
community has always been amazing that way, and those of us who live here in the Uintah Basin community as a whole, it's always inspiring, isn't it?
It really
and we
is,
think about that. So you were really out of a desire to, can we do something? Got together, and then this started building. And where did it go from there, Grayson?
And one of the reasons that we really wanted to do it as a school was because we could help. As students, blankets were something we could help make, something that on a personal level that we could do. But after that, we really just organized. We got kids. We started fast. 2 days. It was really hectic. We started organizing donations, getting people lined up to come help.
Yeah. As far as donations, the fabric for the blankets must have been.
You know what? No, we actually
that purchased.
It was all purchased. Everything was purchased in a matter of 3 days. We raised $18,000 through basically social media, telephone calls, radio.
Send us your money, and then we'll use that to. Was it all to purchase blankets?
Blankets and supplies.
Blankets and supplies. Right. So what? I mean, you had was it fleece?
Fleece. We did fleece blankets,
fleece
right?
Blankets.
And scissors.
We did almost 900 blankets. I mean, we at the school accomplished tying 700 blankets in 4 hours. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. These kids are amazing.
Well, I got to walk in that room and I saw everybody busy. The room was the cafeteria at Uintah High School.
Right.
And Grayson described to me what that was like in that room full of people making things and how it came together so fast.
I felt extremely honored. I was so proud of our students to step in, take time out of their day to come in and help us make blankets. They're sitting there tying blankets, cutting, talking to each other, having a good time, playing music, just enjoying the spirit of giving to people.
I walked by one table and one of my students said to me, Mr. Piner, this feels so good to be doing something for somebody else. And that's what charity and service, right, is all about. You really hope to hear that, but that was vocalized. You felt it through the whole room. And volunteers such as yourself, Marcie.
Volunteers throughout the entire community, they just came out. I mean, Lincoln Brown did a shout out at like 8:30, and people just started coming, you know, Halliburton.
Now, from the disaster, of course, schools are on extra sensitive alert. I've never seen so many visitors passes.
Right, I'm sure they had to reprint.
And they were all there. There were visitors, there were students.
teachers. It was fantastic.
It was amazing.
Two blankets
amazing.
too.
Yes.
Mr. Piner was in there making blankets.
I saw you, absolutely. It was amazing.
I was walking through it first, and then I was just magnetically drawn to, of course, there were good people like you saying, sit down and tie, cut and tie, and we all learned how to do something that, how many of people in that room knew how to make?
I don't know. I didn't know how to do that before.
I
didn't know.
I didn't either.
But there were boys, there were girls. It didn't matter.
It didn't matter. People of all ages. What an inspiring thing. And thank you on behalf of all of the people really who were part of this, from the community, volunteers, good friends, and social media. What a great use of things like that. The student council, the student body.
Yes.
Come together like that.
And our community is amazing.
Now you've had a little bit of communication, we're just running out of time, with the school district in Connecticut?
Yes. And they, when I spoke to Joanne at their school district, she sobbed. She said no one had contacted her about a blanket drive. She was really, really touched. And so we are hoping that every single student, well, not hoping, every single student will receive a blanket on their desk when they go back to school.
So is that where the number 800 came from? Is that their population?
That's their students and the faculty.
Every one of them should have one when they get back from Christmas break is the idea.
Yep.
Congratulations on a great drive. It does feel good, doesn't it?
Well, thank you
both for being here.
Appreciate it.
We'll be right back to hear from Uintah High School students and more of the Check Your Change project.
Strata Networks is proud to bring the first true 4G LTE network to the Uintah Basin. 4G LTE is the most powerful mobile broadband available anywhere in the world. With speeds up to 10 times faster than 3G, you can stay connected like never before. Video chat without delay, stream HD TV or movies in an instant, and download or upload in seconds. For details, visit us in Roosevelt or Vernal or call 622-5007. More speed, more power. 4G LTE, only from Strata Networks.
Welcome back to Local Point. Joining me is Kenton Pope and Cameron Barr to talk about the Check Your Change project. So it's good to have you both.
Thank you.
Look at you in your spiffy sweaters.
Yeah.
Representing the school and the colors. Very good. Kenton, tell us a little bit about, we talked in the first segment a little bit about a portion of the Check Your Change project, but tell us about Check Your Change. What is this drive?
So every year around Christmas time, the student council puts together this fundraiser for usually local charities. Especially this year we're focusing directly on local charities, and we do a bunch of activities to help us raise the money for the charities, and it's just a good deal to help community and the student body.
Do you have any idea how long Check Your Change has been going on at Uintah?
I have no clue.
At least you're 3 years, right?
Yeah, at least. And I know long before that.
I'll bet it's been 20 plus years. I bet it has. It's been a long time. It's a centerpiece in this community now, and you're part of it and running it. Now, how did it go this year, Cameron?
Really good. So our total was approximately $11,000. I don't want to say an exact amount because I don't know for sure, but around $11,000, and that was the quarter roll on the 19th, the same day as the blanket tying was actually where the blanket tying was going on. We raised $7,000 alone just on the students' quarters. So if you do the math, that's 28,000 quarters. So it's a lot of quarters, and they rolled them in 2 hours. So we got out of 2 hours of class, and then whoever didn't want to go to class went and helped blankets. So
right. For our viewers that don't understand the quarter roll, just what he was explaining, students bring in coins, quarters specifically, and then what happens? They bring in by the buckets.
We dump them in buckets, or this year they used long boxes because they didn't like the buckets for some reason. And you just keep dumping your quarters. And
then what happens with the quarters?
However long it takes, the administration's on the table rolling them in the paper rolls, and however long it takes them to roll it is how long we're out of class.
Right, so each quarter they count them, put them in the rolls, and then put them away and start rolling in the paper coin rolls, every one. So until they finish rolling them, you don't have to go to class. All right. Now what goes on in the meantime? You just everybody just sit around
all sorts
waiting?
of things. Like this year obviously the blanket tying was going on, so kids who felt wanted to go tie blankets, that was open the whole time. And there was some activities. Mostly we just kind of hung around. Some kids brought video games, some kids dance. There was stuff going on in the gym.
Right.
There's hot chocolate selling.
On various years, there's movies and karaoke singing,
Yeah.
and just depends
And
on
there's
the
always
year
a-
what happens. But,
Yeah, there's always a bank set up.
but what we do
ran.
know is there's no class. You don't have to go to class. So the idea, the
At
more
all.
quarters you bring in, the longer
longer
you're
you
out of
stay.
class. Everybody has a lot of fun with that. It's a great tradition at the school. And that also is just part of Check Your Change and the fundraising, right? It seems that it was the bulk of it this year. But what else did you do to pull in money? You had some really creative things going on, didn't you, Kenton?
Every Tuesday or Thursday, whichever one fit the administrator, we had a trophy case in the commons area that we locked up the administration, and students would give $1 a minute to keep the administration
To keep them
in
locked
the
in
box.
this glass cage. Right?
With whatever they brought with them.
And they were good
Chairs
sports to stay in
yeah.
there too, weren't they?
Yeah, they
but
were.
the more money that was paid, the longer they stay in.
Mm-hmm. Every dollar was every minute. So.
What else did you do? I mean, you ask students. I always see the students running around with containers, asking.
Decorated
water jugs.
Yeah.
Decorate water jugs and try to fill them as full as we can. I had a penguin. He had something pulling around in a sled.
Now, I know that the money for Check Your Change in the past has gone to various selected charities, sometimes local, sometimes international. But this year, you said it was it all local, apart from the blanket thing?
Yeah.
But
Usually we choose one charity, big charity we give to, and then a couple local families. But this year we decided to split it up into 3 groups. We had poverty, abuse, and illness. And within those 3 groups, we had around 2 to 3 charities underneath each one that are local that we'd give to.
Right.
So we had the Children's Justice Center and the Women's Center, right?
Women's shelter.
The Women's Shelter.
Food pantry.
Yeah. The food pantry, just all
and
sorts of
helped out right here in
different
our
ones,
community,
yeah.
and I'm always amazed and impressed with the way this community, the community in the Vernal, and really the entire Uintah Basin, responds to charitable efforts.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to actually the student council members, because with our water jugs, not only do we just carry them with us at school, but there's kids standing out in the freezing cold in Jubilee for hours at a time collecting change. So it wasn't just a in-school thing, but we worked really hard.
Community members are able to give and help out as well.
Yeah, anything. So, but we just worked really hard, and I just wanted to thank everyone who did that.
Well done. I'm not so sure Uintah High School really does as great a job as they could about bragging about the cool things that go on there. So we love to hear about it. Amazing things happen in that building. And oftentimes the student council is right in the middle of it in some way. So thank you all, and the rest of the council members. Of course, we couldn't have everybody on, and Mrs. Gray, the advisor, and everyone, right, who had a hand in Check Your Change 2012. So, well, thank you guys for coming today, and thank you for watching today's show. That's all for now. Please join us next time right here on VTV Channel 6.